Hi everyone, welcome to this segment of Financial Freedom with me, Bright McAfee. So, for some time now, we've been talking about family financial planning, which I believe is very important to every couple, whether young or old. And so, these segments are actually meant to really educate all of us on our financial literacy. And I believe that this series will really educate everyone out there. So, we have with us here on set once again our mother who has been taking us through this series for quite some time now. And so all the way from Austria, she's still here. She has done it all for almost 40 years. And so she's here to actually continue sharing her experience with us so that all of us can learn from it. So Mommy, welcome again to this segment of Financial.
Thank you.
Family Financial.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you again.
Okay, so today we are talking about something very unique. I think that in this dispensation or where we find ourselves, what happens is that a lot of times we don't really properly plan for our children's education. And so you see somebody in primary school struggling, in junior high school struggling, senior high school struggling, not to even talk about tertiary. And then you see other children who are doing so well because their parents or their families really plan well for them. So we want to really discuss family education planning for the children. How do we plan for the education of the children?
Well, if you, I'll start by saying that once you marry, it's not everybody who marries and thinks that they have to have children. No, it's not like we think here. But there are so many people who may marry and decide no children.
Yeah.
And there are so many of them all over the world. But I think in Ghana, it's a different story. Yeah, we want to have and we put pressure on people to even have. So once you want to have children, then you know that you have to educate them. We are no longer in the stone age where people had children and they just had children.
Yes.
Okay, we have people right now, even in the villages, who say, I just had my children. They have maybe 14 children and they don't care about education. But this time and age, you need to be worried about education. So the same way that you were educated and you saw the way you suffered, if you don't want your children to suffer the same way, then you need to start very early. As soon as you start and you are able to save, start thinking about how to set up a financial, an education fund. It's called an education fund. Okay. How to set it up for your children. You can set it up at the beginning. Usually the education fund should be in the child's name or the children's name. But if you don't have yet, and you are an ambitious father or mother or couple, that's not ambitious though, but well thought. That we want to start early and put some money away for our children, the to-be children's education. Then you can set it up beautifully. You have to go to the bank. And they are very willing to sell these funds to you. And remember that an education fund means that it will also be yielding, because if you're going to do it over a number of years, so actually it yields dividends too. So it's not just there, it's not a savings account. It is an account that also gives you some interest on dividends. So if you set it up, it is always a good thing to do. I know people who set these funds up and they later went for it because they were hard up. So that is why it is good for it sometimes to be in the child's name. If it's in the child's name, it will be more difficult to take it. But sometimes you don't have a child or you want to do it in your name, it's also acceptable. You can do both. So if you want to be disciplined or if you want to make sure that you don't go back for it, maybe the best thing is to put in the child's name, so that if the child is not 18 years, the money cannot be taken. They cannot sign to take it. So you can set up one like that. That will give you the discipline that you need to to allow it to stay. But if you do it in your name, then you have to discipline yourself. But I can tell you that, to be frank with you, the best one is for it to be in the child's name, and you set it up such that you cannot take it except the child in question or something like. Make it strict.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is a fund that you can easily go back for.
Okay.
Because if your child hasn't gone to school yet and it takes so many years for the child to go and you are hard up, that is the fund you may think that you need to close the first one.
Yeah.
So if you can do it properly, then it's a very good way to set up a fund for your child's education. Because unless, of course, you want your child to just go to any school, right now, if you don't have money, you can't send your child to a good school. Recently, I met some parents who were complaining. They even said even the public school is very expensive.
Yeah.
Let alone talk about
because you buy books.
You buy books.
You give feeding money
and it's
every day. They
were saying that, and this lady was saying that she actually didn't want to send her child to the public school because also it's not. There's not, they don't believe in it. They don't believe that the children are learning much. And she was thinking that she wanted to send her child to an international school that she thinks, because I was telling her that not all of them also are good enough. Yeah. And she said that she will look for the good one. But then her problem is money. So I was telling her that, okay, then you have to start saving before you even have the child. She doesn't have yet, but she was thinking. And then she was talking to me about it, and we were just discussing in the hair salon. And I was telling her things that I didn't even know that I was coming to talk about.
So I think it's very important.
Yeah, it's important. People are worried.
Yes, exactly.
People are getting worried about once the child comes, what do I do?
Exactly.
How do I take care of my child? Another thing I can tell you is that don't always think about the money being big before you invest or before you... Recently, I read somewhere where you can even invest in MTN shares and with 100 Ghana. But 100 Ghana is still a lot of money for some people. So why don't you try to save? I taught my children to do this kind of piggy bank. I bought them for them, and I said every money that you have, or sometimes you want to buy coffee, and I've told them that don't be buying coffee every day. Buy your own coffee and make it. And so anytime you think that you want to spend €4 or €5 to buy coffee, take it out and put it in that, and drink your own cheap coffee. And at the end of the year, they were all shocked, And so you can also do that. In fact, I've done this with many people. We don't have time to talk about this. With people who even had shops. And I used to go to them and I told them, she said she wasn't making money. And I said, look, put this container here. Every day before you go, put €5 inside. This, we are talking about Europe, not even Ghana. And this €5 at the end of the year, at the end of the month, what will she get? 5 times 30.
Exactly.
She already called me to tell me that since she started the shop, this is the only time she can take money to go and buy something for herself. But it means that she wasn't managing well. That €5 a day to put inside didn't bring down the shop. But it rather made her happy. It gave her more money. And then she started doing this, And so what I'm doing, this is just an aside, but with whatever you want to do, start small. Even me sitting here right now, I still do those kind of things. I always have a piggy bank, put in my coins, And there was a time that I was coming home and my piggy bank alone gave me some €500, which I came and gave to charity.
I think all of us.
You have to do that.
I still have my Susu box. My producer also has his Susu box.
Yeah, do it. The Susu box, I believe in it so much. I believe in it so much that even now I join a Susu group. They are teachers, but you have to be careful. If you are joining a group, be careful which group. Decent group. Join a decent group. If you're also giving to those people on the road, I know some people have run away with money before. I won't advise.
I was talking to a friend at the gym. I think early this week or so, and then he was telling me about an iPhone he bought.
Okay.
So he told me it was Susu that he made to buy iPhone 12.
Yes.
So I was surprised. I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought the 2 box is only for coins.
Oh
He
no,
said,
you
no,
can
no,
put
no, no,
anything.
I
You
dropped
can put
paper notes. I said, oh, really?
Oh.
So he's really opened my eyes to certain
And
things.
then it doesn't make it stressful. Like a friend of mine was inviting me to a wedding, and I said, I checked, I said, oh, the airfare will be 700 euros. And I said, oh, how am I going to get 700 euros? I just put down my box. And each time I came, any coins I had, and I was just dropping them.
Dropping them there.
When the time came, I even had more money than the 700.
Exactly.
You know?
So,
Because you just keep putting and don't touch, but you have to be disciplined. And you have to buy the type that you can't easily open. When I did it for my son, the one in China, at the end of the day, when he was going, we had to break it open. And the money that came, I just changed it. I wanted him to feel that, I saved and it's going to help me. So I changed it and gave it to him. You know? So you can always make, if you can't do it, don't worry it. It means you don't have at all. But anytime you can have change or some money that you don't need, make sure that you put it away somewhere.
Is there any money we don't need?
well, when I say money you don't need, okay, you don't need immediately. Maybe immediately there's no money that you don't need. Every money, So that's the thing. Every money is important. Very.
In your early submissions, you mentioned education fund.
Oh yeah.
Now, with the education fund, so I'm here thinking, the contribution into the education fund, is it going to be on pro rata basis, or one party is going to contribute more than the other? I'm asking this because there are people who believe in a school of thought that it is the man who should take care of the children. So the children's school fees, the children's educational needs, the man has to take care of all of these. So in case we are having an education fund for the family, I don't know the number of children that a couple may want to have. These days, people don't give birth plenty as compared to before. So I'm here thinking that if you are with somebody who has this notion that it is the man who is supposed to pay the child's school fees or meet the children's educational needs, do you think that the education fund will be important or will be valid for this purpose?
Okay. So there are different types of partnerships. Okay, when it comes to these relationships, we have those who are living together but not married.
Okay.
I think some time ago we talked about this, and I said in Norway they had what they call Samboa. And I think also in Ghana here we have Pinatrin and those kind of things, and baby mama, but that has come into the whatever.
But people do live like that for a lot of years.
Oh, and I know people like that. Even as I'm talking, I know people that this Samboa thing is well developed out there, and people live all their lives. People like Oprah have never married, but they have they live
for over 30 years.
More than that, actually. More than that, So she's older than I am, so I think her relationship was there before a long time ago. But they've been able to manage it. So it depends on the kind of relationship we are looking at. If depending on the type of relationship you have, you think that, and also talking about a father should take care and all that, it's also Ghanaian mentality. Okay, so it's more of Ghanaian mentality, African mentality, that a father must take care of the children and not the wife, right? Yes. But I think that now, if you come from this culture where a father must take care, then we are saying that...
I'm not cutting you, but on the flip side, they said a woman's money is for her. But a man's money is for the family.
It's for the family. That's also something I've heard. I've heard that before. I've heard that a woman's money is for her,
but a man's money is for the family.
All those are jokes, you know. These are just jokes. All that. But I think that when you are talking about a strong relationship, a couple that have gotten married, as we said, legally, everything is in proper place, and you settle down, and already you're thinking of having children, then of course, when you think about the fund, the education fund, however you are going to deal with all the other funds that we talked about, that's how you are going to work on your education fund as well.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you are both working, okay, if you are both working, then it means that the same way that you are both contributing to
Yeah.
a joint account or a car account or something, house account, then you should be able to also contribute the same way, because the education fund actually will be the smallest one,
Yes.
because you don't need so much
Yes.
to contribute to an education
That's
fund,
true.
because it's going to be there for a long time. If you are thinking about the child going to school around when they are primary school, will be like 6-7 years, so it's a long term thing.
Yeah.
And at that time you don't need much actually.
Yeah.
Most of people will actually keep it for secondary school and beyond, because that's when you spend more money.
Yes.
Because most of the time when they are still young, the expenses are still not that much. And some people will wait.
Yeah.
But if you need it to, I think the bank, for whichever they will tell you, there are different types.
Yes.
So you maybe say that you want to have access to it at this time, when your child is 6 years, or when they are 18, or when they are something like that. So depending on what you have set up, then you go according to that.
Yes.
If you are talking about who should put more money, then it is the same decision between the two of you. For example, the woman is taking care of a business. It's also for both of you. I think that once you are a couple, there's no I am the one who has more than other.
Yes.
I think money becomes, every money in the house is for both of you. So whether you earn more and I earn less, or vice versa, we should see it as money that comes into one pool, and then we distribute.
Yes.
So I don't see why one person should, if we are putting money together and then decide, so if mine is less, if I earn 1,000 Ghana and you bring 2,000, at the end of the month, we are in our pool, we will have 3,000.
Yes.
Then we budget with 3,000. And that is a household income. Okay. So there shouldn't be problems with, in that case, with who is putting more. No, it will be the budgeting. What you determine from your budgeting, your 3,000 budget, that every month we will be able to put 100 in our house. And as to who is earning more or less, it will be between the two of you.
So one thing I want to ask is that in the absence of education fund, it means that couple will have to resort to loans to even educate their children, most especially at the tertiary level.
Yeah.
Yes, most especially at the tertiary level.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that? Do you think that? Don't you think going for loans to meet your children's educational needs, really impact the finances of the family?
Yeah. Okay. Going for loans is also not bad if you need it, because I have gone for a loan before for my child to go to school.
Okay.
Because at that time you are also still working. Okay. And then if you can pay for that loan, maybe you didn't set up a fund for some reason. Okay. Maybe you did other things, and whatever thing you did in this educational, setting up a fund for education, they believe that I'll do other things, make my money. When the time comes, I'll still be able to pay.
Yes.
So when the time comes and you're not able to pay, and you are a businessman, for example, your money is working in a business, you can decide to take a loan.
Yes.
And you know that because of your business, you'll be able to pay. So that one too, it's okay to do. It's okay to do to do that if you can, and you have the means, and you can pay back. Don't go and take a loan that you cannot pay back.
Yes.
But if you can pay back, then it's very healthy and reasonable to do that
those
as well.
with flexible payment terms
and
then reasonable
interest. Because when you go, it all depends. You see, if you have good finances and you go for your loans, they're usually with reasonable everything. The only time the banks cut your throat is when your finances are bad. When you have very bad finances and you go to them for money, they will cut your throat because they will say that you need to do this and that, and whatever they ask you to do, maybe you need to have an insurance
Yes.
to go with your loan. You need to do this and that, and
Yeah.
everything that you add to it makes the loan
Exactly.
more and more difficult to pay. So that's when. But if your financial history, you have built it up slowly and gradually, and now gotten to this point that we're talking about, and you take a loan that you can pay, that's fine. It's not everybody who can take a loan. So even the fact that you can even take a loan, you should be happy and proud that you can take a loan.
Yeah.
But you have to be disciplined enough to pay it back. Otherwise,
I think also these days there are so many scholarships out there that parents or couple can also seek for their children as well.
Yeah.
Most especially at the tertiary level.
Yeah. At the tertiary level, yes. But not so much.
Yes.
Especially with the graduate at the undergraduate level. At the graduate level, there are more scholarships.
Yeah.
But anytime you are going to do your first degree, it's always difficult to get scholarships.
That's very true. That's very true.
So it's very important that parents think about their children's education until the first degree level.
That's true. That's very
So
true.
that if the child is able to go,
I
then that's it. Sometimes, if a child is not able to go, you could still use that money to resettle the child after the SSS. Maybe they are not able to go to university, but they are good at hairdressing, fashion, something, another trade.
Yes.
You can use the same coffers or fund to help them to so which is also
Wow.
not bad.
Very interesting. Now, for me, I think that the reason a lot of times we have a lot of problems, I'm talking about burdens or pressure on ourselves in terms of our finances, is because even though we are talking about family financial planning, when we are planning, we only plan for our immediate family. So the spouses plus their children. But we don't take into account the other family members.
Extended.
And all these people will come with their problems. So because you have not planned for them, it will now become pressure on you.
Yes.
You see, because you don't have the financial muscle to actually cater for all these people. So do you think that, this is the last question, do you think that we are talking about family financial planning? Do you think
this is a very important aspect that we have to touch on, because especially for Ghana, the extended family is I don't know what to say. It's very developed, and so whether you like it or not, it will catch up with you in one way or the other. So I think that what the advice I can give is, if you can, and you are doing your kind of emergency fund, maybe include include this kind of extended family support as well. You could even set up something for extended family support, because in Hong Kong, the government they've developed something for children to be able to help their parents, so that even your tax is reduced if you pay to your parents and do the things like that. They have something like that. So they have all these things very elaborate and well developed in their banking system, So if you can set it up as extended family support, so when you are filling your tax forms, you'll see that extended family support. What you gave to your mother, what you gave to your dad, all those things, you write them down. They will reduce your tax for you. So if we can, or if you can do that, and you know that in your system you have this extended family support, whether you like it or not, it will be part of you. You better start planning for it, so to reduce stress. Okay. I didn't do that, but so it has been very stressful. So if you can do that, do it. From the onset, when you are trying to open this account for that, don't forget that while you are doing emergency funds, you should also do your extended family support fund, so that monies that go in there are meant for, just like you do funds, funds for your vacation.
Yes.
You could also have something like that and put any little you can. You'll be surprised that even if it's 20 a month that you are able to put there,
Yeah.
because they will not come every day.
Yeah, not only.
So, but when it comes, you can, even if you have to add to it, you still have something to add to, and it will not be very stressful.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing that I will urge everyone who is listening to try and do. Now, if you don't want to have a fund, you can even make it a susu box thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that every money I put inside here, when my people come around,
Yes.
this is how the money I'll use to help them. But do definitely find a way to open up some kind of resource for this aspect of our lives in Ghana. It can be very stressful and draining, and sometimes it's very unhealthy when you have to deal with so much pressure from extended family. And also, another thing I can say is that when I come to Ghana, I just realized that funerals are also another funerals.
Yes.
You know, as for a Ghanaian, that's why you were saying, somebody said you can even have 8 streams.
Yes.
Look, a Ghanaian can have 100. Because if you want to think about your funeral, you know, the funerals alone.
Yes.
I know my sister, always in Kumasi, she will always, tomorrow she's here. Anytime I call her, she's at a funeral.
Yes.
I just arrived. I'm going. I'm here. So I asked her, how do you fund all this?
Yes.
And she said, only God knows.
And they buy clothes every time.
Every time you have to buy. You know, all those things. So that's another fund that people should start thinking about. Your funeral fund, so that it will not be another stress for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even if you have like aging parents,
Yes.
you should also start thinking about some of these things.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I know it's very difficult.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
hard.
But the reality will definitely catch you up.
They said that who said it? They said that hope for the best, but always prepare for the worst.
Yes.
So what can we do? We know that it's also it will by all means happen whether we like it or not.
You know,
so the earlier we prepare, the better.
You know, I said that was the last one, but let me make this comment. You know, the paradox of this whole issue is that the one who takes care of all these people in their family, probably most of the times, maybe they have only like a child, 2 children, or at most 3 children.
Yeah.
Then now the dependents themselves have, you know, multiple children. You know, so we are in 2024. In those days, they say like our grandparents give birth to plenty children so that these children will come and help them on the farm. Some of them, they had fishing nets.
Yeah.
So they needed more hands.
Yeah.
So they give birth to all these people.
Yes.
But in 2024,
we don't need
you are depending on somebody. And you are rather giving birth to more children than the one you are depending on.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a clear paradox.
Sometimes when you are in the city, they will tell you that they are giving birth so that you will come and take care of the children.
The worst of it is that they are naming the children after you. So you know that you have responsibility for them.
They'll name them after you, so you know you have responsibility. So theirs is to give birth and yours is to take care.
To take care of them, yes, that is it. So don't give birth and relax, and then you take care of them.
And if you don't do that, sooner or later, all these children become a problem for you, and that person is dead and gone. So it's actually a big issue in our system. And anyway, if you have the chance at any point in time to, you can advise people who want to do it this way. Let them know that, look, if you give birth to your children, you take care of them. But does that work?
Family planning.
It never works.
I don't know, this is family planning. So I think that we also... So I think that the onus lies on us to really educate these people. Yeah. So they need to be educated on family planning. Yes. So you plan your family. It's very important.
Education is very important.
Yes. I know that in most places, most especially in the hinterlands, in the villages, it's more like a competition. Yeah. Do you know the number of children I have? Have 6 children, have 7 children, then it becomes a competition. Yeah.
So, except that, you know, urbanization has come to help a bit. Yes. People have seen that they have the children and they all run away, and you still don't have them on the farm. So what I've realized is that when I went to the village, some of the women actually were interested in family planning, and I asked them to go to there's a small clinic. I said, go and ask the nurses. They will help you. So right now, a lot of them I've done the family planning, and I even hear that. But even anyway, some students also do the family planning and they misuse the whole concept. But a lot of women in the villages are actually now doing family planning and it's helping them because they've realized that even though we have these children, they are no longer helping on the farms. They are going to the cities, They leave us and go to the city, look for money, come back and go again. They don't stay back to farm any longer. So it's no longer useful to have many children. Yeah.
Okay, viewers, thank you so much for joining us on this very episode. This episode has been eye-opening, and I believe you will learn something new, or something that you've been contemplating about. So I want to say thank you to Mommy again for being with us on this segment. God bless you, and then we hope to see you in our next episode as well.
Okay.
So until next time, bye-bye for now. My name is Bright McAfee.